what IBM Power11 really means for enterprise architecture and operations. For decades, Power servers stood as quiet enablers of core enterprise operations, rarely questioned, rarely credited. But with Power11, IBM isn't nudging the platform forward. It's recasting the role of infrastructure itself. This isn't a performance leap. It's an operational ultimatum. At the heart of Power11 is a commitment to zero planned downtime, underpinned by live firmware patching, workload migration, and self-healing diagnostics, all operating within a design envelope of 6 nines availability or just 31 seconds of unplanned outage per year. While Power11 has only just entered commercial release, the transition risks are familiar. With Power10, we repeatedly saw patch automation underused, workload mobility left idle, and clients defaulting to traditional maintenance windows despite capabilities to avoid them. In multiple sectors, especially financial services, the hardware outpaced the operations. That pattern is unlikely to vanish with Power11. It will intensify. Because while the platform removes excuses for downtime, it also removes tolerance for immaturity. This pressure is compounded by energy governance, with regulators now viewing power budgets as enforceable sustainability metrics. Infrastructure isn't just expected to perform, it's expected to justify. Power11 introduces a new energy-efficient mode, delivering up to a 28% reduction in power consumption while maintaining service-level guarantees. These trade-offs aren't optional anymore. They're infrastructure policy. Yet buyers must remain clear-eyed. Power's reliability has always come with a hardware premium. Even Power11's entry-level configurations are positioned above commodity pricing, with IBM's custom memory modules and scale-up architecture requiring a willingness to pay for consolidation. This is not a start-small system and never has been. Buyers looking for bursty elasticity or cloud-native economics may find Power's architecture overbuilt for their actual needs. And that calculus now extends to licensing. With Power11, IBM has phased out perpetual IBM I licenses in favor of subscription-only models. For enterprises accustomed to CAPEX-based licensing strategies, this shift introduces budgeting friction. For new workloads, the economics are flexible. For legacy customers, especially those with dozens of LPARs amortized over a decade, the change is more abrupt. Licensing posture has become as dynamic as the platform itself. Not everyone is ready for that. It's also worth noting that Power11's zero downtime posture places new demands on the full stack, particularly OS levels. Power10 previously required enterprises to upgrade to AIX 7.3 or IBM i7.5 to unlock native features. Many did not, and ended up running in compatibility mode. That trade-off is back. Power11 will run legacy OSes, but with degraded functionality. For a full return on investment, buyers must align infrastructure, software, and policy in one motion. Greyhound standpoint, Power11 doesn't eliminate downtime. It eliminates the excuse for it. The platform delivers autonomy, but it assumes orchestration. For those without the discipline to keep pace or the justification for premium architecture, Power11 will be less a solution and more confrontation. Greyhound Research recommends using Power11 in enterprise scenarios where data integrity, latency predictability, and auditability are non-negotiable. Ideal workload profiles include tightly coupled I/O-bound platforms, e.g. SAP HANA, DB2, Oracle RAC, high-volume transaction engines, core banking, telecom, claims, embedded AI decision systems, fraud scoring, underwriting, regulated infra, central banks, entitlement systems. Avoid deploying Power11 for ephemeral, stateless, or burstable microservice patterns where cost elasticity outweighs RES depth. This platform serves where fragility is unacceptable, not where flexibility is the primary constraint. Inference without drama. AI that belongs in the middle of the process, not on the sidelines. Enterprise AI has long been siloed, trained in one place, inferred in another, and often detached from core decision systems. Power11 challenges that detachment with infrastructure where inference becomes local, secure, and operational. On-chip matrix math engines handle machine learning at the point of data. IBM's AI orchestration via Watsonx.data and OpenShift AI turns Power11 into an inference platform, not a training rig, but a decision machine. This alignment is further enhanced by the upcoming Spire Accelerator, a native AI inference engine promising 32 AI cores and 1 terabyte of memory per module. But buyers should note, Spire will not ship until Q4 2025. And while its design is promising, its field performance remains unproven. For now, Power11's on-chip AI and inferencing stack offer immediate value, but enterprises should calibrate expectations. This is AI for process intelligence, not for training billion-parameter models. That line matters because Power10 paid the price for drifting away from deep AI hardware partnerships. It dropped support for NVIDIA NVLink, which had enabled high-speed CPU-GPU coupling in Power9. Without that interface, Power10 lost its edge in AI training environments, and Power11 hasn't reclaimed that space. Enterprises running GPU-centric AI models will still rely on external systems or hybrid designs. Power11's AI stack is strategic but bounded. In one session, IBM leaders shared how a Mr. Williams technologist resolved a customer issue in just 20 minutes using WCA for I, a task that had taken a senior developer 6 hours the previous day, underscoring real productivity gains. Similar internal pilots suggest feasibility of rapid model scoring capabilities in weeks, not quarters, when Power11's embedded inference is activated. But inference locality does not erase integration debt. Power11's AI integration is tight, especially for inferencing workloads that reside near structured data, but that tightness doesn't guarantee ease of adoption. Enterprise DevOps teams still report friction integrating power systems into standard automation pipelines. While IBM has made significant progress publishing Ansible roles, Terraform modules, and Red Hat OpenShift support for Power, many core DevOps tools remain optimized for x86 by default. Popular container runtimes and orchestration frameworks, such as Rancher, lack full support for the PPC64 low architecture, and CI/CD platforms often require custom runners, rebuilt container images, or architecture-specific exceptions to deploy consistently. This means that even with IBM's modernization stack in place, developer convenience and plug-and-play flexibility remain asymmetric, and organizations should budget for the engineering effort required to integrate Power11 cleanly into x86 dominant toolchains. And while Power10's ecosystem constriction via closed firmware components has cast a long shadow, Power11 offers few public guarantees of reversal. Open computing momentum elsewhere, Ampere, RISC-V, has trained buyers to expect transparency as default. Power11 may regain that trust, but as of today, openness is still a promise, not a practice. Greyhound standpoint, Power11 doesn't chase AI hype. It internalizes AI logic. But buyers must ground their expectations. This is AI at the heart of operational systems, not a silver bullet for every model or method. And for developer-first teams, it still demands adaptation. Greyhound Research believes if AI operations are focused on training large models, embedding with cloud-native inference APIs, or GPU-intensive vision/NLP workloads, Power11 should not be the core stack. Where it excels is proximity to structured data, inference co-residency with ERP/claims logic, and low-latency decision enforcement. Power11 is an architectural bridge for enterprises that want real AI without AI sprawl. But it is not a dev-first ecosystem. It is a platform-first assertion. Autonomy is not optional. Security that starts below the OS. Power11's security design is not layered. It's embedded. With the introduction of Power Cyber Vault, IBM has shifted ransomware protection into the architectural core of the system. Detection now occurs in under 1 minute, using telemetry integrated at the system firmware level, not dependent on operating system agents or third-party endpoint tooling. This design allows threats to be identified before they escalate, operating beneath the OS where attackers can't reach. When paired with IBM's safeguarded copy capabilities, originally developed within Flash System, enterprises can initiate rapid rollback from immutable snapshots. While IBM's sub-60-second recovery guarantees apply formally to its storage platforms, Power Cyber Vault enables compute-side enforcement of the same recovery logic. The result is not just containment, it's time compression. The infrastructure doesn't just alert, it acts. And for enterprises under ransomware pressure, that compression could be the difference between continuity and crisis. That promise builds on a decade of IBM RAS leadership. But Power10 taught us that detection speed without response choreography is a false signal. In multiple healthcare and financial deployments, Cyber Vault delivered perfect signals, yet the recovery lagged. SOC teams weren't connected to infra. Runbooks were written, not rehearsed. The platform bought time. Teams squandered it. In the Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 73% of global enterprises claim to have ransomware response protocols, but only 24% have integrated those protocols with infrastructure automation. Power11 doesn't bridge that gap. It surfaces it faster. If your team still restores from backups manually, cyber vault detection will feel less like a lifesaver and more like a silent judgment. And while IBM has hardened much of the firmware stack since Power 10, the scars remain. Early Power 10 adopters reported firmware stalls during provisioning, partition corruption, and, in some cases, systems that required manual ASMI resets out of the box. These weren't design failures, but they were reminders. Buyers of Power 11 will be watching its first 90 days closely, not for theoretical limits, but for operational polish. Greyhound standpoint, Cyber Vault is fast, but it's not forgiving. Power 11 assumes choreography where many organizations still operate in crisis mode. Detection is hardware. Recovery is muscle memory. If you haven't trained for it, this platform won't wait. Greyhound Research believes security maturity on Power 11 is not a license checkbox. It's a response speed test. Build out pre-assigned rollback triggers tied to your CM and MDR workflows. Test failover from Cyber Vault snapshots as you would a fire drill. Don't defer tooling modernization. Many recovery misfires come not from infra, but from unchanged organizational behaviors. Cloud, but not like before. Hybrid that doesn't need a translator. Hybrid has become architecture by necessity, not choice. But most hybrid deployments remain half-measured. 2 stacks, 2 teams, and 2 versions of the truth. Power 11 changes that equation by launching its entire stack, hardware and cloud, on the same day. IBM Cloud's Power Virtual Server isn't an emulation. It's a replica. And for enterprises bound by latency, sovereignty, or licensing, that parity matters. The architecture proves itself in real deployments. A global logistics firm migrated its SAP workload to Power 11 and IBM Cloud and reported a 25% faster cutover versus prior x86 to cloud migrations. There was no need for workload reauthoring or API realignment. Just an LPER move and a DNS change. That's what parity looks like. IBM has also secured RISE with SAP certification for Power VS, making Power 11 the only non-x86 platform available from a hyperscaler for SAP cloud landscapes. That's not a marketing badge. It's a deployment unlock for CIOs juggling SAP modernization and data residency in the same breath. Still, buyers must acknowledge limits. IBM Cloud is the only hyperscaler hosting Power. If your cloud estate is multi-cloud by mandate, Power workloads will remain in a parallel lane, connected but distinct. And while IBM has improved tooling for workload portability, hybrid automation in the Power ecosystem still lags behind AWS native equivalents. This isn't a blocker, but it is friction, and it sharpens the contrast with ARM-based platforms that now dominate the open compute conversation. AWS Graviton, Ampere, and other cloud-native ARM architectures offer not only elastic scaling and transparent pricing, but also the reassurance of ecosystem openness. In contrast, Power remains a closed-loop system, tightly engineered but tightly controlled. If your architecture mandates openness by design, firmware visibility, modular ISAs, multi-vendor availability, Power 11 will force a philosophical exception. Greyhound standpoint, Power 11 doesn't just make hybrid possible. It makes it equivalent, but only if you accept that cloud, here means IBM Cloud, and only if your architecture accepts separation as a design choice, not a flaw. Per our experience at Greyhound Research, if your multi-cloud strategy depends on portability above all, Power 11 may add complexity. But if your strategy demands workload integrity, architectural parity, and regulatory parity between on-prem and cloud, Power 11 offers the tightest vertical alignment in the market today. The real transformation is cultural. Every feature in Power 11 is real, and every promise is operational. But the platform carries a message few others dare articulate. Infrastructure is not your bottleneck. Your organization is. Power 10 made this truth visible. Too many enterprises bought the system, skipped the training, and limped through patch cycles like it was still 2010. Power 11 demands better. It expects patch automation, not deferral. It expects workload mobility without downtime. It expects AX, IBM I, and Linux admins to collaborate across fault domains, not escalate across ticket queues. That reality is compounded by architecture. Power has never been a casual purchase, and Power 11 doesn't pretend to be. Its price-to-capability ratio is unmatched in the right workload. But if you're buying it to solve an infrastructure problem instead of an operational one, you're misusing the system. This platform doesn't scale with complexity. It punishes it. Meanwhile, legacy friction hasn't vanished. The proprietary firmware decisions made in Power 10 strain trust in the ecosystem. The requirement to be on the latest OS release caught some CIOs off guard. The shift to subscription-only licensing for IBM has rattled budgeting models long anchored to CapEx. And the hardware itself, while world-class, demands processes that reflect its design intent. Power11 doesn't walk those issues back. It builds over them and demands more. Greyhound standpoint, Power11 doesn't handhold. It benchmarks. It's not here to save your infrastructure. It's here to reflect its discipline. If you're ready, it'll run without excuses. If you're not, it'll show you why. Greyhound Research believes if an enterprise is still debating whether they are a power shop, they must frame the decision around this. Do you have workloads that require constant uptime, deterministic latency, and embedded security? Do you have teams that understand partitioned infrastructure and live workload orchestration? Are your operational processes mature enough to support autonomy without ceremony? If the answer to all three is yes, you're ready. If not, Power11 will become an expensive teacher. Greyhound standpoint, what Power11 actually represents. Power11 is not a platform for the faint-hearted. It is a high-assurance, high-demand system engineered for workloads where excuses have no place, whether those excuses are about downtime, threat response, tooling maturity, or cultural inertia. Its capabilities are immense, but its tolerance for fragility is zero. Enterprises that meet Power11 on its own terms with architectural discipline, operational readiness, and the willingness to modernize not just infrastructure, but also internal behavior will find it delivers extraordinary value. It compresses recovery time, embeds AI into business logic, and collapses hybrid complexity into a coherent execution fabric. But for those looking to shortcut governance, dodge hard decisions, or deploy without redesigning the process, Power11 will not bend. It will only reflect. And in that reflection, it will surface every gap you've chosen not to close. This is what makes Power11 not just a new system, but a strategic filter. It won't ask if you're ready. It will show you whether you are. Analyst in focus, Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.